All right. Well, welcome to the 5D Academy of Higher Consciousness. I'm Zarathustra. Um, it's another nice day in Mexico, uh, broadcasting live. The topic of today's um, conversation is going to be about how to trust life, how to trust existence, or um, in is the Middle Eastern culture, they say trust God. So, and we can, the word God, of course, is overused and it's kind of like twisted and everything, but basically existence, consciousness, the being, the presence. When when I refer as God, I'm not referring to a person, one entity. I'm talking about that which is always here, that which runs through everything in existence, the very substratum of everything, and the force, the presence. So that's what I'm referring to. On that note, I'm going to ask you to give me one moment because people in the backyard in the swimming pool, they're swimming, and I'm going to have to close this door because it's going to make noise. Just one moment. Sorry about that. And I have to get my microphone. I don't have my mic. Okay, we've gone through 3 microphones and is working. Amir, is the mic working? Can you hear it? If this one is, I don't know.
No, I can hear it.
No, it's not working. It's kind of strange because so cool. So this is also a part of like the trusting life and being in this place that things don't go your way, things fall apart, and we all get challenges in our lives all the time from every different angle. All kinds of different things happen. And since we're a part of this, the whole transaction, that everybody's a part of it, and it doesn't matter who you are, what you do, where you go to, um, what kind of life strategies you may be presenting or planning on having, it that any of it, none of it makes any difference. At the end of the day, um, you're gonna have to make decisions. You're gonna be facing this different elements or moments of your life that there's tough decisions to make. There is tough roads to take and go, and there are situations that you feel like you're all left out by yourself, and you have to make a decision, and you cannot explain it in any ways to anybody. It's unexplainable, um, and there doesn't seem like to be a solution in that moment of what am I going to do, where am I going to go, what should I do, whether it's emotional, financial, whether you're uh, challenged by your health, it's your family. If your family is being challenged, someone very close to you, or all kinds of different situations in life that continuously it presents itself to you and puts you in these situations that you have to make a decision, and as well as you are challenged and you have your back against the wall and you have no idea what you're going to do, how you're going to get over this situation. It's beyond your control, or beyond this apparent control, this illusionary control that we think we have an option, or we can manipulate things, or influence events in life and things go our way. So we all have been in that situation in our lives, all of us, and we will continue to be in that situation. There's no way out of it, and you have to face it. Now what do you do? And you know, and you don't have to believe in God in order to go forward, because again, God comes in so many different versions. If you're a Christian, then Jesus is your God. If you are tied into the Islamic faith, then you're viewing it differently. If you're from Hebrew tribe, again, you have a different version of that God. Or if you're into Hinduism, then you have a lot of different gods. So, and if you're in Buddhism, you believe in the existence or nothingness, or Taoism, emptiness. So, but the moment is always the same moment for everybody. No matter what color, race, country you come from, how old you are, you're new, old, you're practicing new spirituality, or you're practicing old spirituality, it won't make any difference. The moment is always the same for everyone on the planet, no matter who you are. You're in the same situation. And you have to trust at times existence, that things are going to work out for you, or things are going to work out either way, whether it's in your favor or it's not in your favor. But whatever happens, you surrender to that. So let's just dissect this a little bit more. Let's look into this a little bit deeper of what does it mean? How does it work? Because a big portion of humanity is very much believes that they're in control, and they're the ones who are making their own decisions, and whether things go their way or don't go their way, it's they're the ones who make the decision. That's what they feel, that's how they look at it. And life is a different story, because life doesn't really single out one person and try to punish him, or making him pay for something. Life simply exists. From the moment you wake up in the morning, if you get up very early in the morning and you see the transition of the sunrise, and how the birds start singing and everything comes to life and to being and awakening, till the evening time when you're about to go to sleep, and how everything becomes quiet. So, and it is a cycle it's a natural cycle that has been established. It's got a rhythm, it's got a breath, it's breathing. The planet Earth is alive. It's got its breath and the rhythm of breathing in and breathing out. So, and we're a part of that. And also, in the same time, this is a cycle that it includes life, birth, and death. So people are being born and people die. Things are being born and die. Like you can see it, like flowers. Most flowers don't last very long. They have very short lifespan. And you can see them like they grow and they bloom, they bud and they bloom and they look very beautiful, and then it lasts for 4 or 5 days or a week, and then they start dying out. Same thing is happening with vegetations or fruits or vegetables, that they start growing, and then you pick them up, and then you can only preserve them for a period of time, and then after a period of time they perish. So, and if you go for a walk in the nature, or if you have a backyard, or if you get out of the city, or you go to a park and you're in touch with nature, you can easily see that this process has a rhythm, and there's a formation in it, or at least it appears to be that way. The process of life and death, and all kinds of things that happen in between this period, like from the time you were born to the time physically you're gone. There's a number of different events happen, and these events forces you at times to in a position like you don't know. It's like many different times in life you're put in a position you don't know what to do. You don't know what is the course of action. You don't know how to react to it. And those are the moments you have to trust. You have to trust your inner self. If at one point in our lives, we have to tune into our intuitive knowing, and because our thinking mind is going to tell you a different kind of a story, the thinking mind is going to be very analytical and wants to know everything, wants to know how something happened, what's going on right now, and what it's going to be like in the future. And there's no way to really exactly precisely to know any of these things, because you're dealing with life. And life it's a live entity that continuously changing from one thing to another. It does have a cycle and it's got a rhythm, but it's not here to answer to you. It's not here to answer to the thinking mind. It's not your employee. It doesn't work for you. You're in it. You're a part of it. And it's a part of you, but it's not something you can scold at and say, sit down here and answer my questions, and you have to tell me what you're doing and answer to me. It doesn't work in that way. It will do what it does. And there are times that, you have no choice except trusting that everything is going to work out. Everything is going to work out. That's basically it. And not knowing for the mind, it's very, very uncomfortable situation for the person who's not trained. The new spirituality, now the people who are coming to the spiritual world, especially the newer generation, they're kind of like, it's more like built-in chip and a program in them that they're trusting their heart and trusting life. You go back a little bit to an older generations, and that's something they didn't know, and they had to come on a spiritual path and start getting into taking courses or sitting with teachers, going to gurus, and slowly learning about trusting the heart, trusting life, and understanding what it means that follow your heart, follow your intuition. And so when you're transiting, there's a transition from the head to the heart. You're moving from intellectual understanding to the way of the heart, that there is no rhyme or reason, but something inside you tells you, keep going. That's right. But if you have an engineer mind, okay, and then you say, oh, the numbers don't work, things are not matching, this doesn't look like it's going to happen, but something deep inside you says, don't worry about these things, keep going forward. And you go with it, and then it works out magically, in a very magical way. You don't even know how it worked out, but it works out. And then there are those who they want to know everything. They have to know because their mind is so strong. And what happens is ultimately they suffer. It all turns into suffering because they haven't developed this flexibility of and this expansion of viewing life, or noticing that there is also a power greater than our intelligence that is running the show. Like there's very little paying attention to what is making this planet to turn around itself. I mean, how often do you sit down and contemplate, stop your life and sit and contemplate on the fact that from the time you're awake, you go to sleep, to the time you wake up, what is running your body? What's functioning? How many functions does your body do? Does anybody know how many functions the body does? I mean, let's say we live in this body for 30, 40, 50, 80, 90 years. And most of us, unless we went to medical school or we researched, we don't know how many functions the body does during our waking time or during our sleeping time. And from the time you eat something to the time that you dispose it, how many different functions happen, and how much are you in control of any of these functions? Well, what do you do for them? You don't know. Most people don't know. And same as the rest of the existence, like the day turns to night, the night turns to day, then the summer, we're in the tail end of the summer, so we're gonna slowly transition into fall. And then some places you can see the leaves are already turning. They were green like a week ago, and now they're turning to yellow and then brown or red. And eventually the leaves are going to be gone in a month or two, definitely by November. So, and then it comes, the fall turns into winter, and then, the winter turns to spring. And I mean, the cycle is happening. But what is the intelligence behind it? Who is running the show? Who's taking care of all these things? Who's taking care of you? I mean, you normally will say, I do, I'm taking care of myself. But really, is it really I take care of myself? Or there's something greater that takes care of me? And that's something to be debated and something to be looked at. Something, it's observing it and paying attention to the presence of power, something that exists, something greater than you and I. And what happens after you and I die? I mean, where were you 100 years ago? Who was running the show? What kind of power or intelligence was running the show? And who is going to run the show after you die? So most people on planet Earth, they never ask that question, or they don't give it any importance, because they're very busy with being the central point of life and trying to be in control of everything, or making a money, or trying to make money, or making a living, or whatever is the story that we all know about it. But something much greater than my will and my individual entity is running existence. And that I can trust. I can put my trust in that no matter what happens, I am going to be taken care of, because this force is the same force that is my breath. I'm breathing in and out, and it's this force. And this force is breathing in and out through other people, through vegetations, through animals. And this force is the power that makes the planet Earth turns around itself. And this is the same force that makes night into day and day into night. And this is the same force that runs my body and runs everybody else's body. So, and it doesn't miss a beat. It's always doing its job. So why can't I trust it? Why can't I trust life? That this intelligence knows a lot more than I do and takes care of everything. Does anybody have any questions or comments so far?
Why is it so difficult to trust sometimes?
Well, that's because of the sense of control, that we have this sense and this strong identification that we're separate. So this continuous sense that I need to know, I need to, I'm having people like contacting me, asking me questions like, oh, Zarathustra, are you going to have a third eye activation event? And is my third eye is going to open up? Or is it guaranteed that my third eye opens up? And I'm like, it's like, how can I guarantee anything? Because who knows? Who knows what's going to happen in the future? Nobody knows what's going to happen. But there's this really part of us that really is in illusion of really needs to control things. It needs to be in control. So you want to question that part of yourself. That who is it that really needs to be in control? Who is it that really needs to know?
That is the monkey mind, right?
Yeah, that is the mind. Well, that's the sense of I am separated, because you have this sense inside you that you think you're separated. You're an entity separated from the source. And you have to know everything. As if you do know everything, as if you can do anything about it. Because by wanting to know everything, that means if I know everything, then I can manipulate it. I can turn it around in my own benefit. That's why the part of us wants to know, because if I know, then I can turn it in, so and I can get whatever I want. But it just doesn't work that way. That's not how it is. It's different.
Thank you.
Yeah, just look at it. Just look at it for a moment. Like this strong urge that you need to know. Where does it come from? You know, this.
So what you're really saying is that no matter what, we just should let go and just trust that whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what else can you do? I mean, let's say you don't trust and you don't let go. So who's suffering in spite of that? Let's say I don't trust life and I don't let go. So I'm really like hands-on. So yeah, I don't trust life and I don't let go. So what happens? What's going to happen to me? I just suffer, because the machine of life, this wheel of life, it's going to do its thing. It's going to turn around. It's turning all the time. So what can you do? It's easier if you develop this part of yourself that you naturally let go and you naturally start to trust. And so what happens is, this is like the way I can explain it, is like ordinarily the person who really needs to know this, they're really hands-on on the wheel and they need to know everything, and they're tight and they're contracted. And then as you just letting go, so you still got your hands on the wheel, but now you're kind of like more relaxed about it. And what happened between this situation and this situation? There's space. So the more you let it go, the more space is in between. The more space is in between, the less contracted it is. It's not so contracted. So space opens up. Space opens up means you dove into the infinity. Means there's infinite possibilities. infinite possibilities of anything can happen. Anything can manifest and show itself. You can try it, because life is going to give you a challenge all the time. You're always going to be challenged in your life. And you always have an opportunity to try again. It's not like you're only going to get one or two chances. Every single day is going to challenge you. Some days it's a lot easier. Maybe a week you go through and there's not much happening. 2 weeks go by, and then all of a sudden you get a phone call from someone, there's an emergency or something has happened. And you're going to have to trust that everything's going to be all right. Everything's going to work out. And also developing this attitude of non-attachment, not being attached to the result. The results, the problem is like you cannot suffer in life. Suffering is basically very much rooted into your attachment to how things should be. If things don't go my way, then there's something's wrong with existence. Existence doesn't know. I, who've been here for this many years, know better than existence, because existence doesn't know. So things must go my way. If things don't go my way, there's something wrong. So then I suffer. But if you develop this attitude that if something goes my way, it's perfect. But if it doesn't go my way, it's still fine. Because obviously existence knows better than I do. This existence, this power that it created the entire existence, knows better than I do. So if things don't go my way, then there's certainly a reason in it that from the broader perspective existence knows, and I don't see it. And I'm okay with that. Then how do you suffer? How can you suffer in that case? Because you're not attached to any results. Either way, you're okay. So how could you suffer then? You can't be disappointed, you cannot suffer. So you have eliminated by changing something inside yourself. And that's much easier, changing something inside yourself, than trying to change something in the world. Because, see how many people came and on this planet and tried to change things in the world. They just don't work. So it's easier if you change yourself. And changing yourself is basically a perspective. You change your perspective, the way you look at things. Viewing things. Anybody has any questions or comments? Okay. So let's see what we got. Okay, let's see. Would you please tell us a summary in Persian? What did you say in this webinar? Thank you. Some people always want to control everyone and everyone, how we should treat them. Yeah, I Arad, Arad, thank you for writing this to me. This platform, Tuesdays I speak in Farsi, in Persian language, and Tuesdays, on Wednesdays this platform is in English. So I won't. I'm. I can't speak in Farsi because uh, this is not the right platform for it. So forgive me, I won't be able to explain things in Farsi. But I appreciate your reaching out and your question. But I'll say it in English. Yes, there's people want to control everything and everyone. Oh yeah, of course. I grew up when in a in that situation. I saw that with my father, how controlling he was, and he wanted to control everything. But also, when people trying to control other people, basically it's coming from a deep insecurity. That's what is happening. It's basically being very insecure and trying to control other people. That's all it's about, because you find a lack. You so and you're projecting your own shortcomings on other people. So you have this deep desire to control other people because there's emptiness inside yourself. If you don't feel empty within yourself, there's no reason to try to control other people. People who are very secure with themselves, they not jealous, they don't find shortcomings, they're just observing what's going on, but they don't feel like they have to control other people. So, and I've seen that in my family and in my life, and few times that I was an employee of a company in my early days. Now it's very clear to me, and I can see it these days with my friends, or the ones married, or the ones have kids, or the single ones, the ones that they have this deep sense that they have to know everything and they have to control people around them. And I can see it's coming from their insecurity. They're insecure. All right, let's take a few minutes since we don't have. Okay, yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for asking the question. Arat, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. All right. Let's take a few moments. Let's just dive inside. Let's just come back into this place. And all we do is simply we shift our attention from the other world. We bring our attention inside. We look and we just follow the mind inwards, the thoughts inwards, and that automatically leads you into a deeper silence. You just dive inside yourself and the mind becomes quiet. So let's do that. Let's just be quiet and take a deep breath. So when you simply stay here and you bring your attention inwards, you shift your attention. Because normally our attention is on the outer world. We're looking on the outside, including our mind, which is an object. Whatever thoughts go through your mind, they are objects. Or whatever feelings come and go, they are objects. Or your body. This is an object. So when you shift your attention from the objects and you bring your attention inwards, and what happens is you can follow the stream of your thoughts. All these thoughts, there, and you go inwards, you just follow it. And you can see for yourself what happens when you follow your thoughts inwards. Check it out. Just take a look. And almost immediately you're in silence. You become quiet. You dive into a deep silence almost immediately. Everything becomes quiet. And then there's no thoughts. When there's no thoughts, there's no story. There's no story of trusting or not trusting, what's going to happen to me, because this whole thing about trusting life or not trusting life is basically what's going to happen to me. That's what it's about. What's going to happen to me? There's a me involved in there. If you take the me equation out of the way, which is a thought, then you simply can see for yourself the problems are gone. Because all these problems are the me, the I thought problems. The one who thinks it's somebody, the one who thinks is in control, and the one who suffers for not being in control. But if you get rid of that one, then you will see for yourself there is no issues. Everything is simply is. And it's unfolding beautifully in a perfect way. It may not go your way, but it's perfect. Okay, slowly, slowly come back. Come back here. Yeah, when we come back into the center, here at the center, you see there's nothing going on here in the center of yourself. It's only when you leave your center and you go out into the world of the mind becomes chaotic. But when you come back here, everything is really like Zen. It's like quiet. Nothing's happening. And this is accessible to you. It's available to you at any moment. You can always come back to yourself. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. One of our viewers was thanking me for the energy. Yeah, it's it's uh, it's amazing that when collectively we're together and we come back to our hearts, the power that exists here in this moment, it flourishes because it's your own power. It's something that you live in it, but it's not personalized. When I help people find their own inner power, it's not like it is the universal power which is here. It's tapping into that, coming to it, and recognizing its existence and the presence that's there. And with that comes tremendous amount of peace. And the heart opens. So knowing that and practicing it, and then existence challenges you every time with a new event. And then you're just gonna have to use all the tools you've learned to come back within yourself and just be here. And if you forget, again, another opportunity comes in your way. We're coming to the end of our academy. I'm planning on have a upcoming tour coming from October 3rd to 8th. I have events in Frankfurt. Of course, I'll be there a little bit longer for private sessions. And then from there, the next event is going to be, I believe, from the 14th or 15th. Hilda, it's 14th to 24th, right? I believe.
We start
18th.
October 19 to
19 to 24th in Hamar, Norway.
22nd. 22nd.
Yes, 22nd. Yeah, of course, I'm there a day before and a day after for private sessions. And then from there, I head to Poland, Warsaw, and I have a series of events the last week of October. And basically it. And also we're having a retreat, a shamanic retreat in the beginning of the end of January 2024 for 1 week. This shamanic retreat will be in Tulum, and registration is open. So if you have the means, it would be lovely to be together. And our next academy is going to be next Wednesday, same time, broadcasting from Mexico again. My website is Zarathustra.tv. And if you want to communicate with me, you can write to me on either my Insta page, or more effectively, you can send me an email at info@zarathustra.tv. My social media pages are Zarathustra 5D. A copy of this broadcast is going to be sent to you via email for those of you who are registered with us through the Zoom. And also it's going to be all over my social media pages. I look forward to connecting with you. Thank you for joining me, and look forward to seeing you next week. Namaste. Have a good one.